Are catfishing Paylakes in trouble? Hi, folks. Brad here. Thanks for joining me at We Be Fishing. We're a viewable podcast right here on YouTube, and glad you've joined us today. Well, a quick Google search will answer that question for you about catfishing Paylakes and if they're in trouble or not. And the simple answer, or the quick answer, would be yes, they are. Now, I'm going to go through several reasons why that is today. And one, for them, they're seeing a drop in the numbers of people fishing these Paylakes and trophy Paylakes. Now, there have been many reports about all these very shady Paylakes out there. And there are several of them. And there are those out there that are still good Paylakes, and they get their fish from, farmed, raised catfish, ponds and things like that. And they comply with the law, and, their books are taken properly, and where they're buying their fish from and so on. They're aerating the water possibly in their ponds and lakes, and they're giving these fish ample food as well. But there's many others that are not doing those things. And those are the ones that are being hurtful to the people that are doing it right. And we've got to say, I think public opinion is going to say, more do it wrong than do it right, unfortunately. Paylakes could be a good source of people such as young children, people that are disabled, and the elderly. If they're run right, these could be great locations for these people to get out and go fish. Unfortunately, a lot of these people are, that are fishing these Paylakes are very healthy individuals that have no problems getting around. And they're doing it to try and catch these trophy fish. A lot of times they're doing it in these tournaments that they have out there, and they're just doing it for the bucks. Now, overall, as I say, attendance is down. Now, in the area where you're at, you might have a very healthy, vibrant business at a local Paylake there. But generally, overall, across the nation, most of the numbers are down in this. And again, there's several factors to this. There's a negative view of catfishing Paylakes in this country right now by the majority of people or majority of fishermen. And that negativity is not just focused on the Paylake, but it's also focused on those people that fish the Paylakes. These people are looked down upon by, we'll say, because a term a lot of people like to use, real fishermen. We're going to use that term. Look down on these Paylake fishermen because of the connotation that comes with the Paylakes, and that you are supporting that bad behavior. And not just bad behavior a lot of times, many times it's illegal behavior, all right? So if you're supporting that, people are not going to look fondly upon that. Okay, so that is a huge reason right there. Numbers are down on these Paylakes. Some of these people are getting the message. Now, some of them have learned the truth about the operations by a lot of these Paylakes out there. Now, a lot of these Paylakes get their fish and their trophy fish from our public waters. And we're going to throw them in this thing, and these fish are going to get caught over and over again. And they're the only food a lot of times these fish get are fish that have hooks in them. All right. So these fish have to eat they've got to bite something, so they're going to bite your hook. So again, this is where your other fishermen looking down on them. It's like, you've got, the fish has no choice but to bite your hook. So that doesn't make you a good fisherman. Now, again, not all of these people do this, but again, a lot of them do. They're not always feeding these fish right, or they are feeding the fish, but they sometimes use a chemical that's used to control algae and stuff in these lakes. They're overdoing it, and this chemical also can be used to stimulate the fish to want to eat more. Okay, so either way, you're starving them or you're overstimulating them to eat. Either way, you're encouraging them to bite the hook and take that bait. So again, this is something that's seen as pretty shady, pretty bad, and again, not seen in a positive light. As I was touching on, they're taking these fish from these public waters many times, and these fish no longer have the chance to reproduce and pass on the quality genes to future fish that would be in our public waters for me and you and our grandkids and generations to come. Now, there's not an endless supply of these large fish in these lakes, so they have to continue to go to the big rivers and the big lakes on the public water constantly to get new, large, trophy-sized fish. And, they're just destroying the numbers of quality fish out there. And another thing that's on the list that some of these people are doing is they're not purchasing these fish many times from commercial fishermen. They're just from any Tom, Dick, and Harry out there. They're just buying these fish up from them. And, a lot of times they're not keeping the books on this, which makes it illegal in most states. So again, it's a shady enterprise a lot of times. So again, that has become, something that many people have now become aware of is the practices of many of these trophy paylakes out there. And a lot of people just don't want to participate in that anymore once they realize what's actually going on there. Now, a lot of paylakes, have been cracked down on. You've heard me report this about, my state of Kentucky here, where many, many paylakes got busted. These people were fined, or charged with several crimes, and many of which, I've just talked about. But, that's another thing. Another thing on the list to touch on real quickly is, like I said, just the behavior or the mistreatment of these fish that you're bringing in. They're just, they're being managed very poorly in these waters out there that they put them in, and they're living a very miserable existence that won't be a very long existence as well. But so that's what's going on. Population-wise, the number of fishermen throughout the nation is down on these paylakes and trophy paylakes. More and more people are waking up to the paylake fishermen owners, these groups out there, and how they're handling business out there on the dark side, buying black market fish a lot of times and things like that. A lot of times these are interstate or out of state fish. They're catching these fish out of state and they're bringing them into different states and this and that and so on and so forth. And that's illegal a lot of times. So that's just another thing that causes a negative light on this. Now, again, as I stated, there are some reputable catfish paylakes out there, and I think there is or could be a need for some of these Paylakes out there. I've worked in the mental health, in the mental health field, and in a field where people are physically disabled and couldn't get out and wouldn't be able to go walking down a steep bank and going to fish the rivers, or even easily getting in and out of a boat somewhere. Many of these people are wheelchair bound and so on and so forth. Like I said, there's also our military veterans that come home and they're injured, and they can't get out like they did before. So I just want to say there are areas or reasons where catfishing Paylakes could be a good thing. I don't think the tournaments they hold on them are a good thing, and I don't think the trophy Paylakes are a good thing, personally. And it's okay if you have a different view on that. But, as I said, the industry is down. I know a lot of people are down on these Paylakes, and rightfully so many times. Well, that pressure is working, okay? It's not closed them all down yet, but if the numbers continue to drop through the negativity placed upon these trophy Paylakes or these Paylakes in general, if it's continuously placed upon them, and the fishermen, the people that support this type business, and or the commercial fishermen that decide to sell to these people, if that's all seen in a negative light, then maybe these things will start one by one fading away and be no more. But I think they're still going to be around for a while. And like I said, in some cases, I think there could even be a need for them if they're managed and run properly. Anyway, folks, that's my take, and that's what we found out doing a quick Google search. You can find out yourself and list all the details down through there on why that is, why these Paylakes are starting to feel some pain there, because the numbers of Paylake fishermen are down nationwide. Anyway, there you go, guys. Just wanted to bring that story to you. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and hope to catch you back here next time at We Be Fishing. Y'all have a great day. Take care.